Have you ever found yourself grappling with the urge for momentary pleasure, only to be left feeling empty and unfulfilled afterward? In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to be swept away by the allure of instant gratification. But what if I told you there's a deeper path to lasting contentment and inner peace? Join us on a journey of self-discovery as we delve into the timeless wisdom of Stoicism and explore the profound insights it offers for navigating life's challenges with grace and resilience. By understanding the principles of self-control, moderation, and mindfulness, you'll gain invaluable tools for overcoming compulsive behaviors and finding true fulfillment in every aspect of your life. Stick around until the end of this video to uncover actionable strategies for cultivating emotional balance, reclaiming agency over your desires, and unlocking the secrets to a life of profound meaning and purpose. Don't miss out on this transformative opportunity to embark on a journey towards greater self-awareness and genuine happiness. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like the video, you can help me continue spreading the Stoic philosophy. If you are not subscribed, I recommend you subscribe and activate the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like the topic of this video, please comment on number 1. If you don't, please comment on number 0 to let me know so I can make a better video for you. Now let's begin. When people talk about masturbation, they often have different reactions. Some say it's completely normal, while others question its limits and possible dangers. It's a subject that deserves careful thought. How much is enough? How long does it take for indulgence to turn into addiction? These questions won't go away, and they need answers that find the right balance between personal happiness and possible harm. When someone can't stop doing this behavior even though they know it could lead to bad things, their worry grows. Many things need to be looked into if you can't stop doing something. What makes this urge so strong, and why does it keep happening even though you know it could lead to bad things? It's important to answer these questions because doing something that seems harmless could be a dangerous trap that ends your life before it even starts. Society may make masturbation look like a harmless thing to do, but the truth may be different. There is a complicated mix of mental, emotional, and even physical factors at play behind what seems like a harmless exterior. It's important to understand these details to fully understand how they affect your health and relationships. It's important to understand that masturbating too much can have a big effect on many areas of life. It can have effects on more than just personal pleasure, ranging from mental and emotional health to how people interact with each other. So it's clear that we need to deal with this problem right away, which makes us think about why moderation is not only a good idea, but also a must for living a balanced and satisfying life. When you try to stop masturbating too much, you have to deal with both the physical act and the deeper reasons that make you do it. This journey of self-reflection may bring up painful truths and weak spots, but it's an important step toward taking back control of one's life. By recognizing the possible dangers that lie beneath behaviors that seem harmless, one can start on the path to becoming more self-aware and gaining power. I'm deeply sorry for the long discussion about this issue. I know it may have seemed like too much, but the importance of the issue makes me want to learn more because it's about a widespread problem that affects people of all ages. It is important to shed light on the complexities of this issue, showing how it has many sides and what they mean for our overall health. Indeed, by looking at this subject from a scientific and philosophical point of view, we can get a fuller picture of what it means. Scientists can learn much about how complicated human behavior is and how it affects our minds and emotions by looking into the physiological and psychological processes at play. Looking at this problem through the lens of philosophy also lets us think about what it means for our larger moral and ethical systems. What it does makes us think about personal responsibility, social norms, and how to be happy as an individual while living in a community. So even though I know that the amount of information on this subject could make people tired, I am still determined to bring attention to how important it is. By getting into the details of this problem, we can start a meaningful conversation, make people think, and eventually work towards solutions that help everyone grow and be healthy. Let's take a look into the complicated workings of our brains and see what deep insights the philosophy of Stoicism can give us about addiction, especially its harmful effects on our thinking processes when it comes to masturbation. Thanks to advances in neurology and psychology, modern science has shed light on the complex ways our brains react to different stimuli, such as those related to sexual behavior. Through empirical research, we learn more about the neural pathways that control pleasure and reward. This helps us understand why some behaviors, like masturbation, are so addicting. When we look deeper into the philosophical ideas of Stoicism, we find a rich tapestry of wisdom that talks about how important it is to be self-aware, self-disciplined, and moderate to deal with the challenges of life. According to Stoic teachings, we should carefully consider our wants and urges, knowing that too much or too little can throw off our inner balance. By looking at the history of masturbation, we can see how societal views on the act have changed over time. Modern medicine recognizes that masturbation happens in all species, but historical accounts tell a different story. Masturbation was once seen as immoral and taboo, especially because of cultural beliefs about reproduction and sexual function. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment #1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. As we go through this exploration, it becomes clear that our understanding of masturbation is complex and shaped by a mix of biological, psychological, and cultural factors. We can learn more about addiction and how it affects our minds and overall health by taking a more complete approach that combines scientific research with philosophical thought. If you want to join us on this journey of discovery, please subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell. If you keep reading our content, you'll be able to learn more about these deep topics and gain useful insights that can help you understand yourself and the world around you better. When you look into the complicated relationships between female masturbation, you can see how societal expectations, personal freedom, and the search for pleasure interact with each other. Throughout history, women who masturbated were often looked down upon and shunned because society thought that women should only be sexual in straight relationships. Because of this, women who sought pleasure through self-stimulation ran the risk of being rejected by society and rejected by men. The historical story of masturbation among women was also linked to ideas of morality and virtue, which made the conversation even more complicated. Self-pleasure was often seen as immoral and sinful, which kept women from exploring their bodies and desires because of a heavy moral burden. To make things even more complicated, people have long thought that masturbation and other forms of excessive physical activity could cause several illnesses. Because it was based on old medical ideas, this idea made people who were thinking about self-stimulation scared and anxious, especially women who were often seen as weak and prone to physical problems. Moving forward to the present day, our ideas about masturbation have changed, though some societal taboos and false beliefs still exist. Researchers have found some interesting things about how masturbation affects the body, especially when it comes to men's health. For example, some studies have found a possible link between masturbation and better sleep, with people saying they feel calm and relaxed after releasing their sexual energy. The French Institute of Medical and Health Research has added to this body of knowledge by finding new information about how masturbation affects men's brains to make them sleepy. According to their research, the male brain goes into a sleep mode after an orgasm. This means that the cerebral cortex, which is in charge of conscious thought and cognitive processing, is less active. In the end, the trip through history and science shows how complicated masturbation is, especially when it comes to how it affects women's freedom, how society sees them, and men's health. Untangling these knots will help people of all genders have a more nuanced understanding of sexuality and healthy attitudes about self-pleasure and body autonomy. Post-coital sleep, which happens to a lot of men after reaching climax during sexual activity, shows how closely physiological processes and behavioral responses are connected. When you have an orgasm, your body releases a series of hormones, such as oxytocin and prolactin, that make you feel calm and happy. There is a common phrase that goes along with this physiological response: falling asleep after sex. But behind the benefits of post-coital sleep that seem harmless is a bigger problem that needs to be looked into more closely. Even though the immediate effects of sexual release may make you feel calm and satisfied, it is important to think about what this physiological response means in the bigger picture. What deeper reasons make people want to be sexually free? And how do those reasons interact with how people act and with social norms? Yes, the desire for sexual pleasure is closely connected to the brain's release of dopamine, whether it's through sex with a partner or masturbation alone. This neurotransmitter is very important for controlling mood, the stress response, and the pleasure response. The rush of dopamine that happens during sexual arousal and climax can be very pleasurable, making people want to have more of those experiences. However, that's where the possible trap lies. When you're sexually active, your brain releases dopamine, which makes you feel good. This can make you mentally dependent on the experience, which can lead some people to develop addictive behaviors. This is called behavioral or process addiction, and it shows up as an overwhelming need to do certain things even though they will hurt you. Even though masturbation is a solitary form of sexual release, it can still become addicting because it makes you feel good. The ease of access and privacy that self-stimulation offers may make it more likely for people who are naturally drawn to instant gratification to develop addictive behaviors. There is no denying the short-term benefits of dopamine-induced pleasure and sleep after sex, but it is also important to recognize the complex nature of sexual behavior and how it might affect mental and emotional health. By learning more about the neurobiological basis of sexual pleasure and addiction, we can become more aware of our bodies and desires and take more control over our relationships with them. The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, DSM-5 of 2017, added hypersexuality as a disorder. This was a big step forward in our knowledge of sexual behavior and how it might affect mental health. This label emphasizes how serious too much sexual activity, such as masturbation, can be, and how it can turn into a crippling condition like obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. As the name suggests, hypersexuality is a range of behaviors marked by an excessive focus on sexual thoughts, urges, or activities. People who have this disorder become obsessed with getting sexual pleasure, which makes them ignore other parts of their lives and causes a lot of bad things to happen. One sign of hypersexuality is masturbating too much. This is a good example of how compulsive this disorder is. It can get out of hand, just like any other kind of addiction, destroying a person's mental and emotional health, as well as their relationships with family and friends. People's never-ending need for sexual release can lead them to do dangerous things, like looking for multiple sexual partners or hiring sex workers. While someone is experiencing hypersexuality, they may not be able to control their urges, which can lead to a cycle of damaging their behavior. The once elusive search for pleasure turns into an unending one that takes over every part of their lives, making them feel helpless and stuck in a cycle of pleasure and regret that never ends. Compulsive masturbation has effects that go far beyond the act itself and affect every part of a person's life. Feelings of guilt, shame, and dissatisfaction become constant companions that cast a shadow over even the shortest moments of pleasure. In the end, the fact that hypersexuality is now recognized as a separate disorder shows how important it is to approach the complicated issues of sexual behavior with understanding and empathy. We can work toward a more compassionate and supportive way of dealing with these problems if we recognize the deep effects of compulsive masturbation and other signs of hypersexuality. People can take back control of their sexual health and well-being by getting educated, speaking out, and having access to a wide range of mental health resources. This will help them find healing and true inner peace. At a very important point in the addiction cycle, the brain faces the harsh truth of too much dopamine release and its harmful effects. When neurotransmitters flood neural pathways, causing a euphoric rush of pleasure, dopamine receptors are blocked by the brain to protect itself from too much stimulation. Even though this defense mechanism is meant to restore balance, it makes the person want to be gratified even more. The person is in a dangerous situation because they are stuck in a paradoxical loop where seeking pleasure gives them less and less pleasure. Even though they are masturbating as usual, they are still not getting the satisfaction they were hoping for. This is making them very frustrated and disappointed. Every failed attempt to get back to the initial high makes them feel even more hopeless and depressed. This problem is similar to what people who are stuck in other types of compulsive behavior, like binge eating or drug abuse, go through. Excessive masturbation is like eating chocolate until you feel sick or drinking alcohol over and over again to feel better. It's a desperate attempt to satisfy an unquenchable craving. But instead of making them feel better, it keeps them stuck in a cycle of self-destructive behavior and growing dissatisfaction. Also, compulsive masturbation is a lot like other types of addiction in more ways than just wanting to feel good right away. Abusing drugs can make you physically and mentally dependent on them, and masturbating too much can make you physically and mentally dependent on the short-lived pleasures it gives you. The person gets stuck in a cycle of dependency where the need to get relief from emotional pain is stronger than self-control and rational thought. To put it simply, realizing that masturbating too much doesn't help with inner turmoil shows how deeply addiction goes and how badly it hurts mental and emotional health. By recognizing the similarities between compulsive behaviors and the ways they work, we can show more compassion and understanding for people who are struggling with addiction. We can help people heal and recover by giving them compassionate support and interventions that have been shown to work. This will free them from the chains of addiction and give them back control over their lives. When you think about what the debate about masturbation and the philosophy of Stoicism have to do with each other, you should read the deep writings of ancient Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus. These Stoic philosophers had a unique way of looking at pleasure and desire that is still relevant today. They were known for being very wise and very good at self-discipline. The ancient Greek philosopher Epictetus stressed how deeply our thoughts affect how we feel and what we do. He said that real freedom comes from controlling one's inner world, not from the outside world. Stoics like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius saw masturbation as more than just a way to get pleasure from the body. They saw it as a deep way to learn about and reflect on oneself. From the point of view of Stoic philosophy, masturbation was a way for people to learn more about themselves by testing the limits of their minds and body. When you do this with mindfulness and self-awareness, you might find out deeper things about yourself and feel more free and at peace inside. Stoicism also believed that controlling one's passions and pleasures in this world was a good thing to strive for. People were told to develop resilience and self-control instead of letting fleeting desires control them. This way, they could rise above the temporary allure of sensory gratification. If you are still watching this video and find these lessons useful, please comment on number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. From this point of view, masturbation is more than just a physical pleasure for Stoics. It is a way to real freedom and self-actualization. People could reach a state of inner harmony and strength that went beyond the temporary pleasures of the flesh by facing their desires with calmness and self-reflection. So, Stoicism's teachings give us a deep way to understand and make sense of the complicated nature of human desire, including the taboo subject of masturbation. Self-discipline, mindfulness, and self-awareness are all principles that can help people navigate the world of pleasure with wisdom and honesty. In the end, they will find true freedom in controlling their inner world. In the larger context of Stoic philosophy, becoming more self-aware means not only being able to find pleasure in life's experiences, but also being able to control and temper those pleasures with wisdom and restraint. This nuanced approach to pleasure is what sets people who have grown in self-awareness apart from those who are controlled by their wants. Stoicism, which stresses bravery and self-discipline, can teach us a lot about how to control our emotions and become masters of ourselves. One of the most important ideas in Stoic philosophy is that we should face our feelings with clarity and calmness, and that we should do a lot of self-analysis and self-control to make sure that our actions are based on reason instead of impulse. As a result of hard work and self-reflection, Stoics try to achieve inner peace and calmness that is not affected by changes in the outside world. Stoic philosophy says that true happiness doesn't come from having a lot of money or things. Instead, it comes from controlling your thoughts and desires. Furthermore, Stoicism tells us to find comfort and happiness in simplicity and virtue, understanding that real happiness comes from inside, not from outside sources. Stoics try to develop a deep sense of inner peace that doesn't change even when life throws them problems. They do this by focusing on being thankful and accepting of what is. Furthermore, Stoicism teaches us how important it is to develop empathy and kindness toward both ourselves and others. Treating ourselves with kindness and compassion helps us connect with our inner selves more deeply and have a better relationship with the world around us. Stoicism encourages us to go on a journey of self-discovery and self-change, which gives us the strength to handle life's challenges with grace and strength. Stoics strive for true happiness and fulfillment that goes beyond the fleeting pleasures of the outside world by sticking to self-control, moderation, and inner peace. I'd like to tell you about an inspiring person whose journey I came across while struggling with compulsive masturbation. This person had a strong urge to find short-term comfort in pleasure, but after each indulgence, they were caught in a cycle of emotional turmoil. But in the middle of their dark struggle, they found a light of hope in the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. This person used Stoic teachings as a guide and started a life-changing journey to gain self-mastery and inner peace. With unwavering resolve, they set out on the difficult path of self-discipline and self-regulation, facing their feelings and wants with strength and courage. Through hard work and self-reflection, this person went through a profound transformation, breaking free from their compulsive behaviors to live an honest and free life. They were able to handle the rough waters of their minds with clarity and calmness by learning more about how their minds worked. At the heart of their journey was the realization that real happiness and fulfillment don't come from temporary pleasures in the outside world, but from sticking to your core beliefs and values. Stoic ideas about being good and strong led them to find comfort in the simplicity of self-control and the peace of mind that comes from having it. This person now lives in harmony with themselves and the world around them, free from the chains of temporary wants. Their journey shows how self-awareness and self-mastery can change things for the better, and how living in line with our highest ideals is the only way to be truly happy. Their story is a powerful reminder that amid life's many challenges, the way to happiness is not to seek short-term pleasures, but to develop inner strength and authenticity. Stoicism's timeless wisdom gives us the strength to face our demons, rise above our limitations, and create a life with lasting meaning and purpose. When we give in to the allure of short-term pleasures, we run the risk of losing sight of our good goals and the real sources of our happiness. We may find that as we seek short-term pleasures, we move farther away from the pursuit of virtue and inner peace, falling off the path that leads to true fulfillment. Though life is full of temptations that can be hard to resist, mindfulness and meditation can be a source of comfort. By practicing self-reflection and being introspective every day, we give ourselves the emotional strength to resist the allure of short-term pleasures. We learn to handle the complicated parts of our minds with grace and calmness through meditation. This creates an emotional balance that gives us the strength to deal with our wants and feelings clearly and calmly. It is true that the urge to engage in compulsive behaviors, like masturbating too much, is a formidable obstacle on the path to spiritual peace. Every time we give in to temptation, we feel regret and disappointment for a while afterward. This keeps us stuck in a cycle of being unhappy and blaming ourselves. Even so, there is always the chance for growth and change, even when bad things happen. By realizing how our compulsions hurt us and practicing self-discipline and self-awareness, we take back control of our lives and make plans for a better, more fulfilling future. Overcoming compulsive behaviors isn't just a matter of trying to get better at yourself. It's a deep spiritual journey that helps us reclaim our natural worth and integrity. By practicing mindfulness and meditation, we can rise above our urges and become aware of our limitless potential, ushering in a new era of clarity, purpose, and inner peace. Giving up the peace of mind that comes from being able to control yourself and being moderate is like giving up a valuable treasure. In a world full of temptations and things that can distract you, Stoicism can be a source of peace and wisdom. If you thought the ideas in today's video were useful, I'd love for you to join our community by subscribing to our channel. Setting off the notification bell will make sure you never miss the chance to read content that makes you think and explores the timeless teachings of Stoic philosophy. Your help and participation are very important to us as we try to create a place where people who are looking for truth and wisdom can meet and talk about the deepest parts of being human. Thank you for listening and taking part. I'm looking forward to continuing our journey to enlightenment and self-discovery. I hope that your pursuit of Stoic virtue brings you peace and happiness until we meet again.